Sri Ramakrishna, he used to say, as long as I live, so long do I learn. Whole life is a learning process only, right? So our education, the main role of education is that it should train us to become lifelong learners. So today we will discuss about certain principles on education, which Swami Vivekananda has delineated. Right? So we'll speak about the certain principles, five principles. I'll stick to five principles, which Swami Vivekananda had said, for the sake of as a guidelines for the children, right? For the students rather, because students today, they face tremendous pressure.
That's true.
So many social forces are acting upon them, right? They have to appear, they have to study, so they have to gather so much of information and skills, and the skills and information knowledge is expanding continuously. There's no end to the knowledge. So one cannot remain complacent. कुछ दिन के लिए कुछ पढ़ें, कुछ नॉलेज अर्जन किए, वो सारा जीवन उसको लेके ही चलाएंगे, वैसे तो नहीं हो सकता. So continuously one has to keep upgrading the knowledge. So this is quite stressful, right? It's quite stressful, but we'll have to face this. Everyone has to face this. And apart from this, there is job market. After completing the examination, after completing a course, after completing certain professional course, one has to get into a job. Even if one is well qualified, getting a job market is very, very competitive. There's a stiff competition in the job market. That also puts a stress on the students. And moreover, the channels for entertainment, enjoyment.
There are so many distractions.
And basically now the children, the youth especially. Earlier the youth period was about 18 to say 20, 22. When they get married, it ends. The adolescent period, it ends. Now because one has to become more qualified to compete in the job market, the education period is extended even up to sometimes up to the age of 30 years, right? So it is a very long stretch from 18 to 30. By then people also start, a group of youth, they also start earning money, and they have become the population, if we see, 50% of the population is less than 25 years of age.
Yeah.
Right? And they themselves have become a group now. It's a consumer group. And what happened to this is the market, right? They've used targeting them as all the products are fashioned in a way that it attracts the youth.
That's true.
So that puts a lot of pressure on them. There's so much of temptation around. So that also puts a lot of pressure. And then so many inequalities in the society, they suddenly come to face, right? And the certain evils like corruption and violence and immorality, all these suddenly after a period of childhood, during that, after passing through a few years of adolescence, they come to face this. So everyone is confused. It's like a bewildering situation for the children. Whom to follow, what to do next. So at this stage, Swami Vivekananda's teachings, right, will be of great will be a guiding principle for them, right?
So before we start the session, we can go into the teachings. Sir, before we go into the teachings, I would like to ask you one thing. You mentioned that these days there are a lot of distractions, and also there is a lot of competition, and which brings me to this, that there are a lot of options, which is a good thing and a bad thing too, right? Because too many options confuses the mind too. So how to deal with selecting, the people are giving their 10th and 12th thinking of which stream to take, which college to go to, which career path to take. So how do they deal with the availability of options? It's also like it's a mixed basket.
As I was telling, we will discuss about the principles, certain educational principles which Swami Vivekananda has told. The first thing I would say is the goal orientation. The 5 principles which I was planning to discuss. First was the goal orientation and the moral integrity. And number 3 is self-discipline and service and then strength. These are very important principles which Swami Vivekananda had stressed that all the youth should have, right? So first is the goal orientation, right?
Yeah.
What they should be, everyone should have a particular goal in life, right? That coordinates the mental power, our activities. They are all oriented towards a particular thing. Otherwise, the power is lost. Today you follow certain thing, tomorrow you follow some other thing, day after tomorrow you follow some other thing, and we are confused, as you said, right? So one should have a definite goal, and there can be 2 kinds of goals. One is a short-term goal, immediately what I have to do, and another is a long-term goal, right? A short-term goal is what is one's responsibility, immediate responsibility that is available, that they have how best they can serve the society, what duties they have, so that they can best serve the society, they can be of good use to the society. Right? For a student, it is studies.
Yeah.
Right? For a student, he has to prepare himself for the profession he is going to take up. So he has to study well and acquire skills. Right?
Yeah.
So these 2 are very important. And now what skill to take up? Every student has got some potential. Every human being has got some potential, has got some capacity, inbuilt capacity. So education should help us identify. Somebody may be good in studies, some may be good in singing, some may be good in sports, some may be a leader, some may be good, they may have some business knacks, right? Some may be good in technical things, some may be good in computers, right? All this, education should provide an opportunity, should help a child to identify what he is good at, first thing. And it should also provide opportunities so that he can develop those skills.
So the
right?
confusion can be lessened if you look at what your aptitude is,
Right.
and accordingly choose your skills and your career. That's how
Right.
the confusion can be lessened.
That can be reduced. So the education should provide this opportunity. Unfortunately, in our country, because of socio-economic conditions, right? So the parents mainly decide what course of study his child has to do, right? And then what profession he has to take. So he is not able to actualize what his own potential. That gives, over a long run, taking up a profession which he is not interested in. It frustrates him. That is one of the greatest difficulties. So education should provide some opportunities to identify better people who are well off, have better economic condition, who are in a better economic condition, come from a better economic better family, as considering the economic conditions. So they have a choice. They are in an advantageous position, right? So that is an imbalance in the society.
Sir, as you said that the parents, matlab in our culture, more or less, it's becoming lesser now. It used to be more earlier, but the parents decide for the students. So I have also seen people facing this with my siblings and other things. So in such a situation, how should the student be able to convey to their parents that maybe this is the path you think is correct for me, but I think my aptitude is for so and so? How does the person convey this?
No, see, we should allow a student to pursue his interest. Pursue. We can always, a parent can easily identify what interests his child, gives interest, what aspect gives interest to his child. So, I mean, the parents should guide them in such a way that they don't go astray. At the same time, they pursue their interests, right? So that they will become helpful to the society. It's not, education is not for earning money, right? It is only, it provides an opportunity to express their own capabilities, right? It gives a channel to express their own, they should take up such a profession where they can express their own potentials, right? So certain things should not be forced upon such children, right? So they should be guided in such a manner. A person who is good at sports, okay, make him pursue that. Even today we have so much of scope available in the field of sports, right? So they should be able to pursue that. Only thing that they should be, the parents should keep in mind that I mean, it is not just for earning money that they are pursuing a particular profession.
This is actually a very common question that we get. Okay, how to convince parents that your education or your examination is not just for the purpose of getting a job and earning money.
Earning money, because over a long period of time, one will come to understand that all this is meaningless. Even if you acquire a lot of wealth, comforts, right? It does not give a lasting happiness in their lives.
That's true.
है ना? कुछ देर बाद समझ जाते हैं. Swami Vivekananda used to give a wonderful analogy, एक example बोलते थे. So how oil is extracted from oil seed. There is a stone vessel in which the oil seeds are put, say mustard or groundnut or whatever, and it is, and you have a pestle, right, and it is driven by one ox, right. It's yoked to a ox, and then it moves round and round, right, and then the oil is the oil seed is pressed and the oil is extracted out of it. And how the how the ox moves, to the yoke one grass, bunch of grass is tied to it. So it is always trying to reach that grass. Since it is tied to the yoke, it is not able to reach. It moves ahead. And then this also goes
the more you
ahead.
move, the more
it goes farther and farther away. Like that, we are also in the pursuit of happiness. We are also in the pursuit of happiness. Ultimate happiness is not in the worldly achievements. However much we acquire wealth, however much we live in comfort, right? This cannot give ultimate happiness. There is even a wealthy person feels a void within himself. Even a person who has pursued his profession, which gives him interest, right? A very creative profession he might have taken to, and which gives him interest. But that may give him popularity, it may give wealth also, but still he feels a void within himself. Right?
That's true.
So this cannot give ultimate happiness. So earning money is not going to give them happiness at all. We are always in search of happiness, like the ox being driven by the grass in front of.
Yeah. So maybe the purpose while examination or in life in general should be, what is the purpose of your life? What do you want to do instead of how much you want to earn? That could be the goal.
Right, that should, so this, we cannot ignore the study and the profession and all that. Because we are living in this world, we have to work, we have to earn money to sustain ourselves in this world. So this cannot be the ultimate goal of life. Right? This is an immediate goal, we can say, approximate goal, immediate goal.
The need
to sustain ourselves, to live in this world comfortably, right? That is one thing. But there is a higher purpose of life also, right? Because we always think that we are the body, we are the mind, etc. But our own scriptures, what do they say? Our true nature is consciousness itself. Atman, it says.
Atman.
Just like I say, I see this table, I see this pen, I see this everything, I see things around. But I don't identify with this table. I don't say that I am this table. I don't say I am this pen. I don't say I am this book.
Self-awareness.
No, I see. Most of the time, we are not aware of ourselves,
Okay.
right? We are aware of ourselves in a different way.
Uh-huh.
I'm just coming to that. Say, I don't identify myself with this. Same way, the body also, I'm able to see it. Mind also, what is happening in my mind now, what I am thinking, that also I am able to see, right?
Yeah.
So just like this table is not me, even so, I am not this body also. I am not
Okay.
this mind also. So I am something different from this. This idea does not come to everyone.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
ourselves, even in spite of repeatedly bringing this idea into, I mean, we may not, when we are actively working in this world, we identify with ourselves with this body. But this is ignorance. That is what Vedanta says. This is ignorance. I am so and so. I am Swami so and so. He is Mr. so and so. He is Miss so and so. Right? These are all only in the transaction, in the worldly transaction we identify. But this is not the ultimate goals. So whatever happiness we try to find, happiness and comfort for this body, right? Some popularity, name, fame, some happiness. All this belongs to the mind, right? So if we stop at that level, then there will be sufferings in this life, right? Because these will come to an end at some point of time. So the higher knowledge, this is what is called as higher knowledge, the knowledge about your own self, what I am truly. That is called as higher knowledge. It is called as Paravidya according to the Vedanta. Para means higher.
Higher.
So all this worldly science, technology, right, history, biology, physics, maths, all these are called as lower kind of knowledge.
Okay.
Right? It's called as a lower kind of knowledge. So lower kind of knowledge and higher knowledge, both are necessary. Right? Upanishad, one of the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad beautifully says, Ve vidye veditavye, paracha aparacha. One has to know Ve vidya, two types of vidyas, two kinds of knowledges. One has to have knowledge of two things. One is the lower knowledge with which you transact in this world, and with the help of this we should be able to transcend this worldly identification also. That is called as higher knowledge, that I am this self. So this is only a preparation, right? This is the worldly experience is only a preparation for something higher. I am this Atman, right? That identity should come. So if if a child is taught right from the beginning itself that I am not, you are not this, and you are not, you should becoming an engineer, becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, going abroad and studying. This is not the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
This is only for the sake of earning money and existing. There are different avenues. As you said, there are so many opportunities where they can earn and in a moral way, right?
Yes.
And live happily also. But there is a higher purpose. If that is made known to the child, then all this disappointment, all this depressions, all these pressures will go away, will fade away. One can readily face, even if does not score a very high mark, one is not depressed about it. One may be disappointed for some time. One may not become depressed, or one may not commit a suicide, right? One may be a failure in his attempt to become a sportsman, right? But he would have achieved something with which he can continue his existence.
Some experience, some knowledge.
Some knowledge is there. He can live in this world comfortably with that. It's not that only a highest achievement can make him live happily. It's not that.
That's true, sir. So we are already getting live questions. So one of the questions is from Ramesh. He's from Nagpur. He asks, how can one focus better during exams when there are so many distractions?
That is only a practice. In Bhagavad Gita, there is a beautiful verse. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, right? Pramati balabhadradam. This mind is always chanchala. Chanchala means very restless. Restless. Naturally, children, the mind is restless. Chanchalam hi, even Arjuna had the same difficulty. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Pramati, it is very adamant. and very forceful also. What should I do? It's difficult to control this mind. Then Sri Krishna gives a reply, beautiful reply. Abhyasena ta kaunteya, vairagyena cha grihyate. It is only by abhyasa, practice. See, you have decided, that is a great one step you have taken, great step. See, I want to study this, right? You have taken a decision and stick to that. The mind may waver, you need not get disappointed about it. That is the nature of this mind. Chanchalam, manas is very nature of mind is to become unstable always. So repeatedly, it goes there, bring it back. It goes here, bring it back. So after repeated attempts, then it will sit for some time. And then you can, so initially it is a struggle for everyone. Even the monks, when we meditate, you go sit immediately, or you don't meditate. You are not able to fix your mind on the Ishtadevata or the higher self, Atman. So mind keeps on, because the day long we are interacting with this world. It is distracting.
That's true.
What one should pursue? Vairagya. I have taken, Vairagya means steadfastness. Right? I have taken this decision, I would study this today. Right? Mind wavers, it is chanchala, natural. So abhyasa and vairagya. Repeated efforts and continuous persistence.
So there you go, Ramesh. You have to practice. It's very normal what you're facing. Mind gets distracted, but you have to practice it to get it back to what you need it to be focused on. Right?
सबके लिए ये है प्रॉब्लम, है ना? मन आदमी के लिए ही ये प्रॉब्लम, मन है तो मन चंचल ही है, उसका स्वभाव ही वैसा है. There is no point getting disappointed about it. Mind, it's everyone, even the greatest achiever, even his mind is also is also restless. So he only practices repeatedly. That's what it is.
So another common question that we have is, how can opportunities be created or grasped in matters where the child is good and efficient in activities that are not mainstream, like dancing and singing? Basically, like how I was talking in the start, skills. You can focus on skills more than focusing on a career path like arts, science, commerce.
Opportunities come. It is only we should be able to take it up. Are we, say some performance comes, a singing, you are called to give a talk, or you are asked to sing. Are we prepared for that moment? Opportunities come. Only we should be ready for that.
Recognize it.
And when opportunities come, we should be able to take it up, take it as a challenge. Never mind about the failures, right? Failures are stepping stone for success, right? The next time, you should not get disappointed about it. Oh, you should try to analyze. You should not brood over the mistakes. मैं ऐसे कर दिया, ये कैसे हो, मैंने क्यों ऐसे किया ऐसे. But क्या किया जो अच्छा नहीं कर पाए इस बार? What mistakes have I committed? What better way I can employ to succeed the next time? This should be our attitude. We should be eternal learners. We should try to learn from our mistakes.
Also, the new education policy, sir, now has started including things like agricultural studies or your skills like dancing, which singing and all, which used to be termed extracurricular earlier. Now they are saying it's not extracurricular, it's part of your curriculum. You can take it up as a study and make a career out of it. So this change is good.
It's very, very, very good, right?
Yeah.
Those opportunities are expanding. So our population is also expanding. So everyone should have, every man will have his own opportunities. Only we should be able to identify it. है ना, ये मेरे लिए है बोल के, he should be able to identify that.
Sir, another common question is, what can be done in case a child, in pursuance of their hyperactivity, is passionate about 2 or more goals in their life? How then can a goal be chosen? Like when you have like sailing in 2 boats, for example. So how to choose?
Definitely you are confused. What his natural skills are, that has to be identified. Only one has to be chosen as a main. Even the lower goal, as I said, immediate goal, placing your feet in 2 boats is disastrous.
So
The
how
same
does
way-
the parent identify which one, or how does the child identify?
See what comes natural to it. Say a person can speak well, if you say. You can naturally see his readiness to express himself, so many ideas coming to him. So he is a good speaker, he is a good leader, which we can identify. So only certain opportunities when they come, it should be encouraged, right? Opportunities come, we should not be on the lookout. It comes, and when it comes, we should be able to take it up.
Yes, sir. So another question that we have today is, I'm unable to manage the time to prepare between all the subjects and I get really scared because of lack of management. How should I divide the time and manage my stress?
Time management depends upon every person, how much he can, how well he has trained his mind to concentrate. But everyone can have make a beginning. Everyone can make a beginning, right? So it depends on the time management, depends on how well one can concentrate one mind. Say one's mind in a particular activity. Say there is a book I want to read, right? So each time when I start reading, so many thoughts keep coming, right? So many thoughts keep coming, it's distracting, right? So I take a long time to read one chapter, right? Whereas a person who can fix his mind in a particular subject immediately when he takes up a book, and he can read it in a few minutes, a few seconds also. This depends on the kind of mind which we have, the pure mind. That is also a very important thing. It's a very, very profound idea. There is something called Brahmacharya, right? Chastity, right? It's chastity of mind. During the ancient times, the student period is a period of Brahmacharya. Not only physical, mental also. One should have pure thoughts, right? That increases the mental vigor. You can quickly grasp the subject.
You're less distracted, you're more focused.
You're focused, and you can grasp very subtle ideas also, and you can retain whatever you have read for a long period of time. That is depends on the purity of mind. That is what is called as Brahmacharya. One develops a medha nadi, they call it. There's a kind of a nerve, a medha nadi, right? That gets strengthened, right? One develops a medha nadi. Swami Vivekananda, when he came to his guru, Sri Ramakrishna, he said, if one practices, Sri Ramakrishna said, one practices Brahmacharya for 12 years, he develops a special kind of of a nerve power, right? That's called as a medha shakti, buddhi shakti. Medha is buddhi actually, power of buddhi. So it is a medha shakti which he develops. So he can quickly grasp very subtle ideas also, and also retain those ideas. So Swami Vivekananda, when he went to, as you all know, he went to America in 1893. He went to participate in the World Parliament of Religions in 1893. So before he went to take part in that, he did not have any credentials that he is representing such and such a religion, and some distinguished person should give an introduction. Only then they will accept him as a member of the Parliament of Religion, where he can speak. So before he went, he didn't have any credentials, because he went with a different intention. He wanted to regeneration of the country was prime in his mind. So he wanted to find some means and come back and do something in India. So when he went to participate, he did not have any credentials. So he went to different places. In Harvard, he met one professor.
Okay.
They met some very distinguished people, learned people, professors. So this John Henry Wright, Professor John Henry Wright, he met him in Harvard. He was a professor of Greek in Harvard. So this Professor Wright, he was so impressed with Swamiji's knowledge, Swami Vivekananda's knowledge. He said, you should represent the Parliament of Religion. Right? He said, no, I don't have any credentials. They say if I don't have any credentials, I cannot participate in this. Oh, Swamiji, to ask credentials from you, right, it is like asking for the sun to shine. What right it has got to shine, right? It is just like that. And then he himself wrote to the committee, the Parliament of Religion committee, the president of the committee. He wrote, see, here is a man who is more learned than the learned professors in America. Such was his this thing.
Aura.
Such was his mental capacity, his knowledge, right? And one more interesting thing is, because of this is the once when he was in Calcutta, the headquarters of Ramakrishna Mutt, Belur Mutt they call it. So there he was in his room, and he had a small library. So he had a lot of books. There, 10 volumes of Britannica Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia Britannica was gifted by somebody to him. So he was reading the 11th volume of that, right? A set of volumes, the 11th volume of that.
Okay.
One of his disciples suddenly came to his room. He was reading this volume. Oh, so many volumes are there, one may not be able to complete it in one's lifetime. He was remarking, the disciple of Swami Vivekananda was remarking to Swami Vivekananda. One cannot complete reading all these volumes. It will take more than one lifetime to read. What do you say? He says, I have already completed in a few days the 10 volumes. I am now reading the 11th volume. Are you making fun? You would have just browsed through. No, you pick up any of the volumes. You question me. And he was quoting verbatim from this thing. Oh, this is exceptional. This is unbelievable. And it's not possible for a human being, he said. No. There is nothing miraculous about it. So it is the power of Brahmacharya.
Yeah.
He said, purity of mind. If one has purity of mind, one can grasp anything in this world. Right? This is slowly deteriorating. Right? The ancient wisdom is going away. The Brahmacharya, purity of mind. See, nowadays, the social media, this internet, etc.
True.
So many distractions, right? Advertisements, young, pure minds, they coming in. It's like a white cloth. A small drop if it falls.
Yeah.
It's difficult to erase it. Like that, a child's mind is so pure initially.
That's true.
But all these dirty things we are pouring into the mind, it makes me feel all these people who are advertising all such things. Don't they have mothers? Don't they have brothers, sisters? Don't they have their own family? How they face their own people doing all this work? Right?
I think the ad makers are driven with the force of just achieving targets.
Money making has become this thing. What a great disservice they are doing to humanity.
That's true.
Right? The whole generation we are spoiling, our own, we are cutting, just like sitting on top of a tree and cutting the root.
Your own root, yeah, that's true.
Right? We'll have a big fall.
So students have a good learning today. This age would be till 25 or till 30?
Which one?
The practice of purity of mind.
Purity of mind is a lifelong purity. One should maintain.
The Brahmacharya and the physical.
Brahmacharya. See, even one becomes married. Right? One becomes married. You don't look upon the other people in an impure way.
Yeah.
Right? Marriage is also one institution.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that everyone should become a monk. Marriage is also an institution.
Really
like monkhood is an institution.
Yeah.
Right? Both of them will meet at one point of time. Right? This marriage is not for enjoyment again.
Okay.
Right? Marriage is also not for enjoyment.
It's a responsibility.
See, certain urges are there. You satisfy those urges, and after birth of a child or two, you live like brothers and sisters. Right? You look upon your own spouses as brothers and sisters. Right? You don't lead that animal life. Right? Again. Right?
Sir, we have another question. sometimes I feel I need extra help in some areas of study. I'm scared to ask from my teacher, what should I do? Certain times you don't know how to approach your guru. You are scared of what he may
Teacher.
think.
No, no. A teacher will be very, very happy to invite questions from the, especially a student who is interested. Say after giving a class for 45 minutes, so nobody asks any question. The teacher will feel bored. In fact, so it has not gone across. He might think if some doubts arise in the mind of the child, it means he had tried to follow the class, right? And he wants to further clarify the ideas which are in his mind. So a teacher, in fact, will be very, very happy to entertain such questions. So one should give up all this fear, right? It is only a kind of it's an obstacle which we are creating in our own minds, right? The teacher does not will not be angry about it. Rather, we only ourselves think that, oh, teacher might become angry, or what other people will think, others will think. So this is our own making.
So right? It's a mental block that we have. It is a mental block we ourselves create. We'll have to get over all this slowly. These are all the areas one has to struggle against. This is common to everyone. It's not that particular child is having this mental block or this thing, right? Everyone has it. We also have to a certain extent. We may not ask certain people, but we'll have to slowly get over this, our own mental blocks. So a teacher is your best friend. You can always approach. No need to be scared. That's what I would like to answer.
In fact, even in our Shastras, it is only in the form of enquiry, right? It is taught. A student puts a question, right? A student puts a question and the teacher replies, right? He tries to understand. That way, teacher also is a learning for the teacher also. What is the level of the student, he comes to understand, right? So he can better deliver in the next class, right? How this is the level of the student, and I should be able to deliver it in this manner. So it is not only a learning for the student, it is a learning for the teacher also.
They are able to gauge if their teaching techniques are working or not, if they are grasping or not.
It is going across or not. It is what way it has to be explained. All this is an opportunity for the teacher also. So students should put questions. Right? Anything in the mind should be put across to the student. But to the teacher rather.
Sir, I think we've taken a lot of questions. We should delve into the 5 principles that you wanted to talk about.
It's a long time. Yeah, the first I think I said about the goal orientation, the low immediate goal, and then the ultimate goal of life. Ultimate goal of life, as I said, is to realize one's true nature, that I am this Atman, I am one with the infinite, right? So this removes all worries. Tarati shokam atmavitta, Upanishad says. Tarati shokam, it goes beyond all worries, sorrows. Who? A knower of this Atman. Atmavit. Tarati shokam atmavit. One who knows that one is a mine of knowledge. The Atman means one's own true self. It is nothing but Sat, Chit and Ananda. It is ever existing. It is intelligence, right? And it is bliss itself, right? So one comes to know this, then he becomes he transcends all sorrows. That is the highest goal, right? So all these lower goals should lead to that higher goal. That is the purpose of education, right? And the teacher, the role of the teacher is to keep this, to awaken this idea about this, to make the student aware always that about his true nature, about the goal. So one can awaken this idea in the mind of the student. So the role of the teacher is fulfilled then, right? Okay. So this is the first thing. And second thing is the moral strength, the moral integrity. Moral integrity. Morality is the basis for the human beings. There is a wonderful verse from Hitopadesha. Hitopadesha is stories for children, right? Which teaches morals through those stories. There, the ahara nidra bhayamaitunancha samanyametat pashubir naranam dharmo adhiko viseshaha dharmena hina pashubhis samana. Right? So he says ahara nidra. Ahara means taking food.
Taking food.
Right? Nidra, sleep.
Sleep.
Bhaya, fear about others. Right? And maithuna is a conjugal relationship. Right? So this mating, etc. So this is common to both men and animals. Right? So people who dwell only on this, what are they?
Yes. Your purpose is higher as you're born as a human.
Dharmo vi adhiko viseshaha. So dharma, it is a morality which differentiates between a man and an animal. Dharmena hina pashabhis samana. One who lacks this morality
Is just like an
is like an animal only. So very basis of humanity is this morality, truthfulness, integrity, right? One who is reliable, right? And truthful, right? All this forms morality. And in this, I have told about Brahmacharya also. This is one of the part of the morality, which not only is chastity, is a purity, gives to purity of mind, it also strengthens one's power to acquire knowledge, right? And one can retain the knowledge which he has gained. And second thing is a truthfulness.
truthfulness.
Right? One may be if a person who is a thief, he may be relied to some extent. Maybe the theft has become a habit for him. He does it. But a person who is untruthful, who lacks truthfulness, one cannot be relied at all. What he says, whether he is saying whatever he says is true or not, one cannot rely on him. So truthfulness is very basis of the whole world works with trust.
Honesty.
Trust. See, today I leave out, I take a vehicle, he'll drop me at a particular place. I trust that person that I bought this vehicle and he charges me the right amount. Like that. So everything works on trust. So a person who is not truthful cannot be trusted at all. Cannot be trusted. His life is miserable. Nobody will trust him. Right? So Sri Ramakrishna used to say, truth is austerity for this age. Kali Yuga ka tapasya hai. Because student life is a life of austerity, hardships. They should pass. We have normally in these days we are pampering them with all this thing, but actually the student has to pass through some hardships. He has to toughen himself to face anything in the life in future. So this truthfulness is one of the greatest austerities.
Yeah.
One who abides by truth, he sits in the lap of the God. God will protect him under all circumstances, right? The idea of God we are forgetting, right? We think that we are going to achieve everything by ourselves. So that is why we have thrown truthfulness to the backyard.
We forget there's a higher power.
All kinds of trickery we adopt to gain small things, petty things. But in the long run, we will find nobody trusts us. Even the family members cannot trust you. It becomes such a habit. So this truthfulness. And third aspect is one should not harbor hatred. The child should be taught that it should not hate others, right? See this hatred. Hatred. Even if you have, if you go to a cave, right, and have a harmful thought about a person, right, it will come back after so many years. We do not know why we are suffering, right? It eats away one's inner life, right?
Your mind
so
keeps
one should
going
not
there.
Keep dwelling about that person only. It gives a little bit of hatred. It again compounds itself, right? So hatred one should give up. Not only about individuals, it should be about the groups also, racial. Religion, religious hatred. We should all think that we are all children. Like we don't hate our own brothers and sisters in our own family.
That's true.
So we should have a higher idea that we are all children of God, right? We are all children. We should not have hatred. We may follow different paths. We may have different ways of life, but one should not have any hatred. So this idea of hatred should go away from the minds. The education should teach them that, the broadness to accept. Swamiji once went to, when he was in America, before the Parliament of Religions, he was going through that fair, the World Fair. He was passing through that. He was wearing the Indian kind of a dress and with a turban on his head. So one person from the back, he just nudged him, pushed him aside. Then he turned about, why did you do it? He looked very looked like a very educated gentleman, right? Might be a very educated gentleman holding some good position, but he simply pushed him, nudged him, and Swamiji. Then he asked him, "Why do you dress like this?" Simply, we identify ourselves with this dress. We think that wearing good dress, I become superior to others. So a poor man will be there. We may simply keep him away from us, right? We think that we are superior to them.
Yeah.
This hatred we should not have.
So just because of the way Swamiji was dressed, he nudged him.
We also, to a certain extent, we have it in a subtle way. We may not express it the way that person did it. But we थोड़ा तुच्छ भाव तो रहता है हम लोग को, even to some extent. Right? So this should not be. This hatred should not be. So this is about morality. And the third idea is that self-discipline. Self-discipline. Right? We have talked about morality, that is Brahmacharya, truthfulness. These are not the extent. This is not complete. There are so many virtues. But one can follow any of these three virtues. One can do well in life, right? One's life will be successful. Like once a saint was there. Somebody went and asked him, give me some upadesha, give me some teachings. Then dharma upadesh kuch dijiye. Then he was said, haven't you read in the primer, kindergarten primer, that you should speak truth and taking things of which belongs to others without telling him, right? Is theft. So follow these two. That is sufficient. You will achieve God. Right?
You're making it sound really simple, and it is simple.
So everything follows through. So you stick to certain ideas and then stick to it lifelong. Then one will achieve everything through that. He says. And this morality, when it has to be effective in life, right? We should have certain disciplines. We should willfully take up certain disciplines.
Self-discipline.
Right? Self-disciplining is very important. See, the success in life, especially the student life, it depends on discipline. One who is not disciplined, irregular, lazy, he can never dream of success in his life. Right? There are two aspects of this thing, self-discipline. The first is physical discipline, and the other one is mental discipline. Physical discipline is getting up early in the morning, trying to be punctual, following your routine, behaving properly in your school with others, sticking to the words. You have given a word and you follow it. I'll be here at 3 o'clock. Means I should be there at 3 o'clock, at least 5 minutes before 3 o'clock. Which is slowly, all these virtues are going away. All these practices are going away. So all these are physical things. But mental thing is much more important than the physical discipline. That is, one should be free from all distractions. Right? So the distractions in the form of desultory, very bad programs, TV programs you see, right? And social media also, so many things are being circulated. You see all that. That distracts the mind. And after watching all this, if you want to study, will your mind sit on the subject?
Your mind has been, the adrenaline rush that you call it, has been triggered towards another direction. Always,
because your mind is always, what you do consciously, that leaves an impression on your mind. That again, not only the seeing things, The mind also generates objects in the mind and itself, and your mind is distracting. It's not allowing you to concentrate on a particular thing where you want to put your mind on, right? So that is not, so distraction comes in this manner. All this entertainments, very cheap entertainments, and also so recreation, everything should be moderate, right? Everything should be practiced moderately. Too much of recreation, spending too much in recreation, playing, etc. So all this again distracts the mind.
True.
Right? A child should be taught moderation. And second thing is the reading habits. Right? One should be able to, the school, education should teach him, the teacher in the school should teach him how to think logically, how to arrive at conclusions, logical conclusions from whatever he has done and whatever he has read, and how to arrive at the central idea, and how to prepare the notes, how to prepare himself for the exam. Himself, he should be able to. These days we depend on tuitions, which kills one's originality, right? It kills one's originality, and also the logically arriving at certain conclusions. This is not developed. This faculty is not developed in us.
So self-study and self-discipline.
Self-discipline is very necessary, right?
So we do have some certain life questions you'd like to address. I'll ask you some of them. How to manage mobile addiction during exam time or duration? Priyanka from Surat is asking.
Switch off the mobile, that's all. Very simple thing. Keep the mobile as throw away the mobile. Why do you need a mobile at all as a student? Right? Probably to a bad day or a year or two back because of this thing, classes.
Online
right?
classes.
You got addicted to it. Now you don't need it. You have the books to read. Throw away the mobile. Why you give back the mobile to your parents?
These days there are WhatsApp groups for parents and for students to pass off any information. WhatsApp has almost replaced emails for official communication.
But you know what information, you can keep such numbers, right, which is necessary for you, right? Teacher's number, a school's number, that is sufficient for you. You don't have to develop your own groups, right? And it becomes an entertainment for them.
And I think you can keep apps that are going to help you develop in your student life instead of keeping the apps that distract you. Maybe that can help.
See, if one feels that mobile phone is a distraction for him, throw it away. Right? If one feels it, really feels it, then it has to be set aside.
Set aside. Right? You have to be strong.
You have to be strong. What you want to achieve, I have decided I should stick to it. वैराग्य होना चाहिए. वैराग्य नहीं है कि सब कुछ छोड़ के चले जाएंगे, वैसे नहीं है. Even for the lower this thing, right? Achievements. I have to prepare for the exam. I have to complete this. That is vairagya, firmness of mind. That is a firmness of mind.
So you sacrifice the little distractions for the higher goals. Sir, we have one more question. Siblings' marks are getting compared by their parents. How to deal with it? Vibha from Rohtak is asking. This often happens. कि आप बड़े भैया को देखो या दीदी को देखो, उन्होंने इतना अच्छा कर लिया, आपके नंबर क्यों नहीं आ रहे?
See, it is how he is. It is good as well as bad, right? How he could get it, you can learn from your elder brother. If he is doing well, उसको देखो वो पढ़ रहा है, तुम भी पढ़ो, ठीक है. That is good. That is necessary also. Comparisons will be there. It cannot be given. But teachers, the parents also should be not be too nagging on the children. उसको देखो वो कैसे कर रहा है, इसके देखो ये कैसे कर रहा है.
Because no two people are the same. No two people are the same.
They cannot be the same. That is there. But at the same time, some good examples has to be set in front of them. It has to be, right? Good students, good people. We have certain ideals in front of it. Even we look towards certain higher. A good person as an ideal, like that. The teachers, the parents also, parents or teachers, they should present good ideals before them, but it should not be too nagging, right? It should be encouraging. It should not discourage a student from studying, right?
Sir, Anjali from Ghaziabad asks, Is exercise does exercise help mentally to stable our mind or not?
The mind and body are related. See, if body is sick, I have a headache, can I concentrate on the studies? I cannot, right? So one should keep oneself fit, and keeps exercising is very necessary. Children should exercise. The earlier days we used to go and play. Now video games and the mobile phones, we keep playing with this thing. We don't have
Sedentary
physical
things.
activity at all. Physical activity is very much necessary. One should keep oneself fit.
Yeah. Sir, what are the various ways by which the children and the young people be made aware of their true passions? Like sometimes what happens is 12th तक भी तुम्हें पता नहीं होता कि तुम्हें आगे करना क्या है life में. So what is the way you make yourself realize okay, this is where my true passion lies? Because at such a young age, they might not know. That's why we have so many people who take up engineering but then end up becoming directors or songwriters because they didn't know what to do back then. So
most of the people it happens. Very few people are lucky enough to pursue their profession, which gives interest to them, which is passionate to them. And that is unavoidable. It happens. It is a reality which we see in this world. So one has to be satisfied with that. That's all. One cannot be bogged down by that. Yes, this is a way of life. We should accept it and go away.
So we have reached the end of our session. Anything a message that you would like to tell our students before we conclude our session, sir?
So the 5 points, just summarize those 5 points which happened, right?
We almost were done with that.
From the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, there are 5 principles which serve as guidelines for the modern youth. They are goal orientation, moral integrity, self-discipline, service and strength. These are the 5 guidelines. Then life becomes meaningful and carries power only when our activities and thoughts are oriented towards a definite goal. Everyone should have a goal in life, right? The lower goal and the higher goal also. Morality forms foundation of human character. As I earlier told you, the difference between man and animal is morality. It is a morality that distinguishes human beings from animals. One of the chief causes of failure in life, especially in student life, is lack of proper discipline. Student life is a life of discipline. Right? It is not a lazy life depending upon his parents. So one should be self-reliant, right? Even from the young childhood. Maintenance of every student is possible only because of contribution from the other members of the society. Students also have an obligation to the society. The service aspect also is a very important aspect. So we derive so much. We are all part of the society. Society itself is a very intertwined organization, right? So every member of the society is dependent on others. Especially the poor people contribute so much, which is not identified, which is not distinguished, right? Which we are not aware of. We simply ignore their contributions.
The dignity of labor aspect.
Dignity of hard labor, and poor people they contribute so much, which is ignored by us. Swami Vivekananda would say, "I call everyone a traitor, who being educated at the cost of the poor people, right, do not pay any heed
for their welfare. They take it for granted.
Right? They take it. They don't sympathize. They don't do. See, education now. How much I can earn, how comfortably I can live. Right. But education. This is what is the common idea. But education, we should pay back to the society. We should serve the society with the skills, knowledge which we have gained from the society. We have an obligation. Every human being has got an obligation. So much of subsidy we get from the department, from the government, for our education. Right? Every member of the society, you go to the school, your school bus driver, right? He does so much. Every day he picks you up from your house and drops you at the school. right? Your maid at the house, so much she does for you. Do we think about it later on, right?
Be thankful, be grateful.
Be thankful. You may not directly serve that person, but a similar person, a poor person, you can always serve, right? You can serve. And this is also, it is not a condescending, oh, poor man, he's suffering. It's not that.
Don't patronize the person.
Patronizing yourself, right? Keeping yourself in a high pedestal. Oh, I am giving you a help.
It should
No.
not be like that.
Swami Vivekananda is one of the greatest contribution is service of God in man, right? What the entity, the Atman is our true nature. This Atman is present in every one of us. That is only one entity. It's not, my Atman is not different from your Atman. His Atman. That is one only. That is manifesting as this, less like in the ocean.
Yeah.
Ocean is one, right? It is manifesting as different waves. Like that, each human being is like a wave in the ocean, right? This Atman, the consciousness within us, is one only that is manifesting as different different beings rather. So, I'm serving the Atman or the God himself, right? By doing good to others, I'm doing good for myself only.
True.
Right? This is the idea. Serving God as man, serving man as God. Right? Jiva Shiva, Ishvara Shiva.
That's true.
Right? Seva of Jiva, individual, is serving God only. We worship in the temples, right? Giving food to a person, right? Or serving him in a hospital. This is also a serving God only, right? In the temple you offer food, you offer nice mithai and all.
So you can
right?
make
If it is
service
if
a part
it is
of life.
a stale one, it will not say anything. Their image cannot say anything. Whatever you offer, he will take it, right? You think that he takes it. But if you give it to a person, a stale food, will he take it? He will thrash you back. So, it is a more difficult kind of a worship. So, worship God in human beings.
In human
right?
beings.
So, service to God is service to man is service to God. So, everyone should contribute to this society.
Yes, sir.
And one more important thing is that all power is within you. Believe in that. Do not believe that you are weak. Stand up and express the divinity within you. Everyone is divine. All power is within oneself. This should be manifest in every moment of our life.
True.
Right?
The strength.
The strength of all strength is not in the external world. It is within us only. Right?
So, we are reaching the end of our session, sir. It was really nice talking to you. And I almost felt like I was in a spiritual session more than an exam warriors session with you, sir. And we thank you, NCPCR, New India Junction and Doordarshan. We all thank you, sir, for participating in Pariksha Parv 4.0 for us and for making Pariksha, for helping us to make Pariksha a little bit more as a festival for us, sir. So I would like to take your leave now. We would like to bid adieu to our audience, sir.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. I also felt happy being able to express certain things of ideas of Swami Vivekananda. I wish all the students their best, right, in their exams. And do not, the examination fear will be there, but do not get overwhelmed by that. Career making is not the purpose of life. Right? That we should bear in our mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining in, and thanks a lot for participating with us. And keep tuning in. We'll have more sessions coming till the 31st of May. This is Divya Singh Sharma signing off. Namaskar.
Namaste.